it up, the candles up, to send the love to all those who lost loved ones to this fire.
Tonight, people gather in Southern California to mourn the lives lost in those fires, knowing the threat is far from over.
The anticipated winds, combined with low humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in the LA region critical.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight, authorities say if new fires do break out during these strong winds that are hitting Southern California, thousands more people could be forced to evacuate. It is a tense situation. Earlier this afternoon, crews jumped on a small brush fire that started in Riverside County. Images on social media show the air attack coming in here to help out those firefighters on the ground. They wasted no time getting to this fire. Strong wind gusts blew some of the smoke over neighborhoods in Jurupa Valley. Evacuation orders were briefly issued here, but those orders were later lifted and only a couple of acres burned in the end. Another small wildfire broke out in San Diego County today. Firefighters say they got control of this one after flames burned about 3 acres of brush in the community of Ramona. CAL FIRE expects that firefighters will remain here at this scene to strengthen those control lines, especially with the winds expected to pick up into tomorrow. And crews at the scene of California's largest fire say they are making progress tonight. The Eaton fire that burned thousands of structures in Altadena is about 35% contained. That's up from about 33% containment at this time yesterday. The death toll from this fire climbed by 1 to 17 people today. Emergency managers are expecting the death toll will rise as inspection teams complete more searches of burned out homes. Firefighters say they're prepared for any potential flare-ups of this fire, which has charred more than 14,000 acres.
We have checked the water system in the Eaton fire area, and it is operational, meaning that we have water and we have pressure. Repopulation will not occur until all areas are safe, period.
Meantime, containment of the Palisades fire is now up to 18% tonight, up from 17% earlier today. 8 people have died in this fire, according to authorities, and more than 23,000 acres have been burned here. Today, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass said a new emergency executive order should help the fire victims rebuild homes and businesses.
We're going to make it through these next few days, but we want to begin to think about how we rebuild the massive destruction that I saw from the air. We don't want people burdened by red tape and bureaucracy. So my executive directive addresses that. It addresses streamlining the debris removal. It talks about actually immediate action that we can take to make 1,400 units of housing available immediately.
And as the recovery and the rebuilding just begins to get underway, still a lot of concerns about the dangerous conditions across Southern California. We want to bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo tracking the ongoing extreme fire danger across Southern California. And Mark, it's really expected to pick up into tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Tomorrow morning. So one more challenge, at least in the short term, for the fire crews is with them. We're talking about those winds increasing. So this is the setup for today. We've been talking about so much over the past week about a northeast wind, but we're going to see more of a shift out of the east develop over the next 24 hours. And as a result, fire danger spreads to the north, up into portions of Ventura County, closer to Santa Barbara as well. But in general, throughout this area, we do have high fire danger for tonight and into your Wednesday. So taking a look here, all these areas in red, even down toward San Diego, under a red flag fire warning once again. So as we can see coming in closer, that is in place until 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Winds could be gusting possibly to over 50 miles an hour for some of the hills of Southern California. And as we take a closer look here, we've been talking about this particular dangerous situation, what they call a PDS in this area. And that means that the winds could be focused in these regions. Notice this is outside of the Palisades fire zone and also kind of clipping portions of the Eaton fire. But overall, in general, that fire zone, that PDS is kind of expanding up to the north. Right now, as we take a look at some of the current wind speeds in portions of Southern California, nice to show you most reports in the single digits. But here is the forecast model. And keep an eye on these brighter colors. They link up to the stronger wind speeds. You'll notice the wind's picking up. This is tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, and then still breezy to windy into the afternoon hours. But then we will scale back on the wind speeds later in the day, Wednesday and into your Thursday. In fact, more of an onshore breeze that might be able to bring in some higher moisture levels that could help the fire crews. This was the scene in Los Angeles today, high of 66 degrees. And of course, you'd expect a lot of haze with all that wildfire smoke in Southern California. In the Bay Area for San Francisco, lots of sunshine today. Temperatures in the lower 60s this afternoon. And then up in the Seattle area, lots of cloud cover. Temperatures on the cool side only in the lower 40s for this afternoon. So here's the satellite. You can see the storm track arcing way up and over a good portion of the West Coast. So this is a dry weather pattern and no rainfall in sight, as you can see for Northern California, down toward the Bay Area, down toward Los Angeles, and out toward the Phoenix area. So here's the plan for tomorrow. A big ridge of high pressure keeping the West Coast dry, clear and cool for Seattle. Lots of sunshine for Phoenix. It could be tracking, of course, obviously some smoke in Southern California with temperatures in the 70s. We're looking for some rainfall, and it's a dry weather pattern. Maybe the chance of some rain showers on Thursday, moving into portions of Washington and Oregon, but California clear from the north to the south, and maybe some more fog to track for the San Francisco Bay Area by Friday. So the forecast over the next 3 days, it is a fairly quiet one. No major storms to track. It is dry down toward Los Angeles, out toward the Phoenix area. Another round of those offshore winds developing later tonight and into your Wednesday. And then beyond that, Alex, we'll take a break. And it looks like the weather conditions, not going to be a rain producer or anything like that, but a change in the wind flow and lighter winds will help the fire crews later in the week.
That is great to hear.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you. Well, some of the support that firefighters are getting in California is coming from places they would least expect it. Fox's Sunny Sai spoke with volunteers in Pacific Palisades about how they're going international to get help.
It's an all-hands-on-deck situation here in Southern California. The two biggest fires alone are burning up an area larger than the entire city of San Francisco. We tagged along with a couple of locals who want to make this difficult time just a little easier for the first responders.
We've been told that some of these firefighters are drinking 5 or 6 of these a day.
It's the little things that keep firefighters going as they face the flames.
It's crazy that it was just a picture of a text from Brendan. It was just like, get this, this, and this, and took off, and that was that.
Evan Rosen and his friends grew up around the Palisades. When the fire started, they received a text from their firefighter friend about what they need on the front lines.
How many? Let's get, what, 4?
So far, Rosen and his friends have raised about $10,000 to help the firefighters.
We still need chapstick as well.
They're making daily runs to stores and restaurants to pick up lotion, sunscreen, pain relievers, and hot meals.
Just trying to do our part, trying to help them out, trying to help these firefighters out. I mean, a lot of people are devastated. It's a hard time. Just trying to see, but you can see from all this, like the community's coming together. The whole as a city, so.
And it's not just a local thing. Social media has taken their efforts international.
My cousin Aiden actually reshared one of my posts as well. And Venmo is not a thing they use in England. They were all downloading the apps. We had, 5 or 10 people send money. So I think it's just compounding. People are sharing. I've had friends who I haven't talked to since college who are now living in Portugal. Reach out, hey, what can I do from afar?
These guys say they will keep going as long as the community wants to help out. The latest requests include sunscreen, liquid IV, unscented chapstick, and hot, healthy meals. In Pacific Palisades, California, Sunny Sai, Fox News.
President Biden says the federal government is covering the majority of the recovery costs for the next 180 days. But he adds that Congress needs to, quote, step up and fund assistance beyond that. It turns out California's recovery could face some political challenges on Capitol Hill, as many Republicans, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, are saying any federal aid to California should come with conditions. Democrats call that outrageous, and they note that $100 billion in relief was given to the victims of Hurricanes Helene and Milton with no strings attached.
We should not be leveraging the pain and suffering of our fellow Americans to try to force through policy changes.
No one wants to leave any American who is in need hanging, so to speak, right? But at the same time, we recognize we have a $36 trillion federal debt, and we have to balance these needs.
Republicans say they want conditions related to fire management and prevention. FEMA does say for its part it has enough money to respond to the wildfires and other disasters in the near future after Congress approved $100 billion in emergency aid last month. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, tensions running high in Southern California as many are worried about new fires breaking out. Tonight, the confrontation caught on camera between a neighbor in the Palisades area who spotted a man with a backpack walking along a private road through the wilderness. Also, one of the lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs could be tossed out. Coming up tonight, we'll break down why a California judge thinks the case could be dismissed. Tonight, a judge says a federal lawsuit filed by a San Francisco Bay Area woman against rapper Sean Diddy Combs could be dismissed. A woman filed that suit last October, saying Combs and his entourage sexually assaulted her in the city of Orinda back in 2018. By law, she had to serve Combs and two other co-defendants with that lawsuit within 90 days. The judge says that deadline has since passed. She now has until February 14th to show proof of service. Her attorney says that because Combs is being held in jail in New York right now, they have so far been unable to serve him with those papers.
So you have a process server who can be anybody who has a license to process serve, but those are for people on the outside. When you have people on the inside, it's a different process.
If the plaintiff misses the deadline, the plaintiff could potentially refile the lawsuit. In October, the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office said that a report was taken in 2018. But after an investigation, detectives determined those claims were unfounded. President Biden announced the creation of two national monuments in California today. The president was supposed to make the announcement in the Coachella Valley last week, but had to cancel because of those dangerous wildfires and the Santa Ana winds in Southern California. President Biden's declaration established the Satitla Highlands National Monument in Northern California and the Chuckwalla National Monument south of Joshua Tree, totaling nearly 850,000 acres of newly protected land. The Chuckwalla Monument will connect with a series of protected spaces spanning 600 miles from California to Colorado, creating the largest corridor of protected lands in the continental U.S.
We don't have to choose between the environment and the economy or between conservation and clean energy. We can do both at the same time.
According to the White House, President Biden now ranks first among all presidents in total area of land and water protection. Well, as the fires continue to burn in Los Angeles County tonight, many people have been forced to make the awful decision to leave their pets behind. Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez has more on the organizations that are going the distance to make sure those animals have a chance at reuniting with their families.
From a man trying to save his horses, animal advocates in Arizona are working to save the lives of the ones left behind.
And I cannot believe how many people I've heard say, I would never, ever leave my animal behind. I'll put them in the car. Well, a lot of these people had to get out of their cars and run. So if you've got one or two pets and you've got children, I hate to say this, sometimes the animal is last to go.
It's why the Western Arizona Humane Society, based in Lake Havasu City, and the Feral Cat Warriors out of Mojave County rushed to the rescue.
This poor guy. Yes.
Working with their volunteers and partners, the best friends and the friends of Mojave County, to empty out Los Angeles's overfilled shelters and make room for the flood of displaced dogs and cats flowing in.
I've personally been doing this for over 10 years in several different disaster areas, hurricanes, fires. The animals always get overlooked. Everybody rushes in to help the people, yet animals get overlooked.
But most pet owners know you love your animals like family, and leaving them behind is one of the hardest decisions you'll ever have to make.
Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive!
Arizona volunteers drove the distance Sunday morning and worked throughout the night, bringing back dozens of cats and dogs this week, with the hope owners in Los Angeles will seek out their lost animals in the local shelters.
They've had so many fosters and volunteers in the community stepping up. It was unbelievable.
And that was Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez reporting for us tonight. The shelters say this is an ongoing process and they have more trips planned in the coming days. Leaders of this effort say they do still need volunteers, fosters, food, and donations. People all across Southern California are staying alert tonight, worried about new fires. And TMZ has obtained cell phone video that shows a resident near the Palisades fire zone confronting a man who was walking through open wilderness. It happened Sunday as the man was spotted with a backpack along a fire road. The man who recorded the video asked him where he was going and what he was doing.
I think just locals are on edge about people potentially starting fires. So you see this confrontation happening. The suspicious person is holding a backpack and they're like, oh, I'm trying to find my way to San Diego, which is about a 2-hour drive from where he was seen on the trail. And so the local is saying, why do you have a backpack? I better not find anything in there. And then the guy responds back saying, well, I don't have lighter fluid, if that's what you're wondering. It's just a very weird conversation.
Right. And according to TMZ, the LA County Sheriff's Department has seen that cell phone video and they say they are looking into it. And you can find the latest updates on Southern California's wildfires at our website. That is westcoastwrap.com. Our online coverage there includes a breakdown of conditions in both of those major fire zones. Well, Starbucks is reversing its open door policy, which allowed people to hang out at its stores without buying anything. The Seattle coffee giant says the new rule is to improve safety and the customer experience. Fox 13's Alejandra Guzman asked people what they think of the decision.
Spotted in plazas, airports, hospitals, even small-town streets, the green siren logo is a near universal beacon for coffee enthusiasts.
This is a venti decaf Americano. It's afternoon.
Have your order ready.
Sit and visit. No, I grab and go.
No matter what you choose, Starbucks is saying goodbye, see you later to public cafes, patios, and restrooms. The coffee giant's latest code of conduct says you must pay to play.
Part of Starbucks culture historically has been that it's a public space and that it's a place for people to meet and to get work done and probably also to enjoy coffee when they do it, but it was never a requirement before. I'm surprised that they're making that move.
I heard that. I kind of think the state of our country now that it's necessary because I think you're going to have a lot of riffraff if you don't do that.
No drink, no Wi-Fi.
I agree. I think if you're going to use the establishment, then you need to buy something.
The reversal of Starbucks' open door policy or update comes as part of CEO Brian Nichols' strategy to improve the cafe experience.
Like, I wish I could go to the bathroom without having a code, but we have to have a code.
The idea is to have a welcoming experience, meaning no disruption of spaces, harassment, violence, no smoking or vaping, or using drugs. Outside alcohol? Not here. These rules and regulations are meant to deter those experiencing homelessness and non-paying customers who walk in just to use the restroom.
What did they get called for? Because there are two black guys sitting here meeting me?
You recall this PR fiasco, the reason the open door policy was put in place to begin with, after 2 black men were arrested at a Philadelphia store in 2018. The arrest of Dante Robinson and Rashawn Nelson sparking nationwide conversation when they were told the restroom was for paying customers only. The pair was waiting for a friend to meet them at Starbucks. Starbucks says other retailers have a policy like this in place. And while less businesses are offering public restrooms, they want to keep employees and customers safe. In Seattle, we've seen the closure of 2 locations, Capitol Hill and the Pike Place storefront.
I think it's necessary. It's sad because it'd be nice if they just let anybody in, but I don't think the way things are these days, it's feasible.
Starbucks says they know many of you may opt to sit and log on to that Wi-Fi or even use the restroom before you make your way to the counter, but their employees will be trained on how to handle and enforce this new code of conduct and ask you to comply. If you don't, they will ask you to leave. Now, the company telling Fox 13 that employees can and will call police if a situation does escalate. In Seattle, Alejandra Guzman, Fox 13 News.
As the fate of TikTok hangs in the balance tonight, many people are flocking to another Chinese-owned social media app. RedNote has climbed to the #1 spot on the Apple App Store. Like TikTok, it features short-form videos, photos, an explore page, and nearby feeds for users. As of now, TikTok is expected to disappear from app stores in the U.S. on Sunday. The U.S. Supreme Court is weighing whether such a ban can in fact move forward. TikTok users are scrambling to protect their content and trying to find workarounds. Tech experts say the app won't disappear from phones immediately. Instead, they expect the app will likely experience more performance issues over time. Some users are thinking about using a VPN to hide their location and IP address. Experts don't believe that will fix performance problems.
They should have a contingency plan in place, because if they're relying on this platform for their livelihood, then what are they going to do?
I'll honestly probably resort to Instagram Reels because they're the same content. It's just Instagram Reels is a little behind like the TikTok wave.
Experts are recommending TikTok users download the content they want to keep before any ban takes effect. Coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, a lot of severe weather damage in Alaska tonight. We'll get you a look at the hurricane-force winds that are hitting that state. Also, more flu patients are showing up to hospitals and other healthcare facilities here in the West. Tonight, the best ways doctors say you can protect yourself. Southern California isn't the only part of the West seeing strong winds this week. New images on social media show the intense gusts hitting some parts of Alaska. First responders believe the wind may be responsible for Sunday's partial collapse of a pedestrian bridge in Anchorage. Thankfully, no one was hurt there. Well, flu activity in western states is outpacing much of the rest of the country. Tonight,
January 4th, there were 278 influenza hospitalizations in the state. That's up from 246 the previous week and 140 on December 21st.
It's severe enough to bring people into the hospital.
Also, 20% of tests reported to the state came back positive for flu. Dr. Kalange says if you test positive, stay home, hydrate, take fever-reducing medications, and ask your provider about Tamiflu.
That can shorten the duration of flu symptoms by about a couple of days. You need to start Tamiflu early.
Doctors say this is a pretty typical flu season. To protect yourself, wash your hands regularly and take all of the normal precautions. And remember, it's not too late to get a flu shot. Kim Posey, Fox 31.
and that does it for West Coast Wrap. Good night.